What's going on, YouTube? Tom here. Today I just wanted to make just a simple little vlog. Nothing too over the top, something easier to edit. Sometimes I like to go simple with the vlogs. Sometimes I like to make them a little more complex. Well, let me know what y'all think about this. I kind of like the format of 2 videos a week that are kind of more edited over the top, and then one simple, just little opinion piece. I don't know, let me know what y'all think about that format, because I kind of like the idea of having more of a consistent schedule like that. So, a little update on the Mustang. I don't know if I've mentioned this or not, but I haven't really had any new developments this week, but I figured I'll go ahead and mention kind of the most development I've had, which is I did get a build date from the salesman I've been going through. He said it should be built February the 19th. Now, that has yet to show up on the CODIS website, so we just have to sit and wait. Hopefully soon that will appear officially from Ford, but until then, we just sit here and wait and stare at that little computer-generated image, and man, is it good looking. I found some pictures on Google of, like, basically my car, Race Red Performance Package, and it's like, hurry up, Ford, that looks so damn good. But today I just wanted to talk about cars that I actually considered buying instead of a Mustang. Because for me, it was a little bit of like kind of a year-long sort of, I want a Mustang, but if someone would have convinced me otherwise before I put the order in, I would have bought a different car. Now, let's put it this way. If I had $1 for every suggestion I got of a car I should have gotten instead of a Mustang, the Mustang would already be paid off. I've gotten a lot of suggestions. But as the saying goes, opinions are like, well, you know what, and everybody's got one. So, I just wanted to talk about some of the cars I honestly looked at before I made the decision. So, realistically, the first one I can honestly say I really wanted to buy before the Mustang was a Challenger. And I must say, I really and seriously was looking at Challengers and pricing them out before I test drove a Mustang. And I'm kind of glad I didn't decide on a Challenger. Now, why did I want a Challenger? First of all, it's the power. I wanted a Scat Pack, or even if my budget would have allowed, I would have gotten an SRT 392. That's the most powerful naturally aspirated Dodge, and that is 485 horsepower. And man, did they go. I did the one test drive I did of a Challenger. It was like you put your foot to the floor and it throws you back almost like that. Like kind of like what a Corvette does. It really legitimately rocks you back, and that is amazing in my opinion. On top of that, you have the most interior space of any of the muscle cars. You have a back seat that you can actually fit an adult in. A little difficult to get back to it, but you can fit an adult. Now, of course, some people would have said, well, why not get a Charger at that point? Well, no, I wanted a Challenger. I wanted 2 doors over 4 doors. I like the look of the Challenger a lot. I even saw one with my girlfriend and pointed one out and said, you know what kind of car that is? And she didn't know, and I was like, that's a Challenger. She's like, that's very sexy, so she likes them. So that would have been worth it. Now, she does think Mustangs are sexy, so it's not like I made the wrong decision in her mind. But she did like the Challenger. But why I didn't want a Challenger, well, that test drive I talked about where I put my foot down and, whoa, that's all the time in a Challenger. There's no way to control that. So you have to really get used to the touchiness of that throttle pedal. And then on top of that, the car I drove was an automatic and it felt really nice. And I never have driven one, but I have read everything about it. And it turns out the manual Challenger, which is one I would have gotten, is apparently not as good as the automatic. So Dodge really wants you to look at the automatic. They make a manual for enthusiasts. And then another thing is, Challengers are actually more expensive, in my opinion, than they should be. An RT Scat Pack starts at like 40 grand. Probably could go a little under that, depending on negotiation and everything. Which isn't bad. As soon as you start putting options, you're already at 45,000 or more. In fact, even you can go as high as the 50s. So then if you get the SRT, you're starting at 50 and it just goes up from there. So it's a lot of money for the car. And that just seems like a lot of money you're going to spend, because then if you want to build the car, you're spending even more money to build it, and you almost have to, because Challengers, some of the components are a little iffy. Like the tires, the Scat Pack, you get the 245s, and it's kind of take it or leave it, and really, if you want more, you have to get the SRT, and it's just, you're not left with a lot of options. So, and then the final kind of nail in the coffin for the Challenger was the realization that it is in fact a Dodge. Now, I know the Dodge guys are going to try to point out to me, I've had several Dodges with no problems, yada, yada, yada. Fine, but Dodges are not known for reliability. There's a lot of problems with Challengers. You're going to get the car knowing you're going to make a warranty claim. It's, now, not to say Dodges are bad. They're still nice cars. Most of them drive pretty nicely. It's just you're buying it with the intention that you're going to have a problem. You have to accept that in order to want to own a Dodge willingly. But it is what it is with that. And like I said, I know there's plenty of Dodge owners who've never had a problem. And not like I was planning on putting a massive number of miles on it, so if anything, it wouldn't have made that much of a difference to begin with. But right after the Challenger, I did look at some other cars. And kind of I guess the next big contender, the one I seriously considered even looking at, never did a test drive one, but really looked hard at them, and that was a BMW M2. And personally, I have an analogy I like to make when talking about the M2. An American muscle car is like going to Red Robin or some other good burger place and getting your half-pound cheeseburger with all the fixings. The massive burger, the grease dripping down, you pay, $20 for it, which is a lot of money for a burger, but it's a damn good burger. Well, BMW M line is a very nice line of cars. It's like going into that fine steakhouse. I was with my girlfriend, we went to this place in Orlando. We were on vacation a while ago there, and it was, you do the valet parking, and we looked at the menu. The cheapest thing on the menu was filet mignon for $50, and it went all the way up to like $120 for your ribeye. And it was, but God, it was amazing steak. We both got the filet mignons. And if you ask me, the M line is that line of steaks right there. That is that fine line of beef. M2 is that filet mignon. It's the smallest amount, but damn is it good. And it really is worth every penny of that $50. Just, M2 is worth $50,000. Now, another reason I really wanted the M2 was because does come with a manual option, and more of them are manuals. So it's not like you have to hunt for a manual. Challenger, you actually have to hunt for a manual. M2s, you don't. They all actually more come with manuals. And also, it's a buildable car. There are mods for it. There are tunes. It is a turbo car, so there are bigger turbos and turbo upgrades and wastegate, stuff like that. You'd go into the boosted side of things, but it is possible to build an M2 and to make it fast. So that was an idea. But now, why didn't I consider an M2? Well, one, they cost a lot. A new M2 is marked up like crazy, like into, $60-something thousand, and, for a $50-something thousand MSRP car, even if I got the most basic possible one, that starts at, $55 or so out the door price. So I looked at used ones, and they're still in the high 40s at the cheapest. They are not a cheap car. And of course, service costs, it's a BMW. It's kind of like a Dodge. You're going to eventually have a problem with it. So you're going to have to make a warranty claim. And on top of that, oil changes on BMWs are not cheap to start with. So realistically, it's not a cheap car to own. And then on top of that, if you do want to build it, it is expensive to build. A lot of the parts cost a lot more money. Yeah, not a bad car. And it is a car that, maybe even more so than a Challenger, is a car I will consider in the future if I get enough money for a car collection someday. That is a car I will consider adding to it. Because that's a car, I'm going to have any German car, period. That's the car I want. That's even over things like an AMG Mercedes. And I guess the final car I can say I honestly considered, and the reason I considered it was because I just knew it has potential to be amazing. I was going off rumors, and that was actually the new Toyota Supra. Now, the Mark V Supra isn't out yet. I can go ahead and tell you with confidence. Right now, that's why it got eliminated. It's simply because it's not out yet. We know nothing about it. But it's predicted to have a 6-cylinder with a turbo engine again, which is great. Again, turbos are great because, you want to mod it, bigger turbo, you can tune it. There's always power to be had in a forced induction car with a turbocharger. But the reason I eliminated it is just because, simply put, the rumors just are inconsistent. I don't want to take a chance and wait for a car and be completely disappointed by it when it does come out. Now we are supposed to hear about it in March. If y'all haven't heard, the new Supra is supposed to be revealed in March at the Tokyo Auto Show, I believe. But, I mean, that's impressive, so I will definitely be making a video on that when it comes out. I'm excited because I do have kind of the in with a Toyota dealer, so I can easily get a chance to go look at one and possibly even a test drive when they come out. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, like I said, we just don't know anything about it. I just figured I don't want to put my eggs into chickens that haven't hatched yet or something. Some analogy I'm trying to think of. I don't want to. You're looking toward the future, and the future hasn't happened yet. So I don't want to wait, and then especially I didn't want to wait and it not even happen. So finally, why did I decide on a Mustang? Well, back in the day, I laughed at Mustangs. I thought they were the dumbest car ever. And I admit, I still see some Mustangs, and I'm like, God, that's so stupid. Why do people do that to their cars? Simply put, it was more the owners that turned me off than the car itself, but why in the end I decided on it? Well, I finally got to test drive one, and I actually enjoyed it. Now, it kind of had... The throttle didn't really want to go. It kind of felt like my truck's throttle where you had to push it, but then they said, oh, by the way, it has modes, so don't worry about that. Okay. Exhaust is a little meh. They have aftermarket exhaust, and then I found out they were working on the active exhaust, and I'm like, okay, that's worth looking at. And then what really did it was, when the 18 finally came out, I found out it was going to get more power, and I was like, well, okay, I don't know how much, but definitely, and all the predictions came out, I was like, well, okay, we're definitely looking at possibly Challenger levels of, 485 or more, Challenger levels of power. And then, what really did it was the fact the Mustang was always a cheaper car to buy. Quite frankly, it's honestly the cheapest car over 400 horsepower you can buy still. And I like that about it. Out of all the new car options, 400 horsepower for a very good rate. It is that ideal half-pound cheeseburger. It is that... I'm a bacon burger fan. It is that ideal bacon burger on the menu. That's the Mustang to me. And the other thing that really helped make that decision for me was the fact that the Mustang is honestly the most moddable of any of the performance cars out there. Because obviously I can do an intake, long tubes, throttle body, a good tune, things like that, and I can be at, 500 wheel horsepower pretty easily. So I can do things like that. Ford comes out with a lot of things for it through Ford Performance, and I mean a good number of options. It's not like, oh, you get a cold air, like TRD for Toyota does like a cold air intake, and that's it. And they used to do catbacks, and they don't even do as many, not very as many vehicles anymore. Yeah, that's your only options. You can't even tune it. Ford will come out with the works. And then on top of that, if, let's say I do want to go to forced induction, like, talking about all these cars that I was looking at buying with some form of forced induction, well, I can go to a, supercharger kit from Roush, factory option, and that'll put it at, 700 horsepower. And, on top of that, the car I ordered was $43,000. Roush in the past charged $12,000. They haven't said what they're going to start charging on the 18s, but theoretically, $55,000 for 700 horsepower on a performance package car. That's a lot of power, and for a fairly good amount of money. And of course, though, you can even go cheaper if you get a basic one. Now, at first, I wanted a performance package specifically for that, again, the exclusivity. They were at the one point manual only, and so not a lot of people were going to have them. And on top of that, you get a lot of performance upgrades that make the car better. Of course, it was between that and a Camaro's SS1LE. I started to say ZL1. Like, no, I can't afford a ZL1. What am I saying? SS1LE, but the reason I eliminated that was Camaros are just impractical. They're small, cramped. They really don't feel as fast as they should for a 400 horsepower car, and on top of that, they're kind of hideous looking. But, and then now they came out with the automatic Mustang performance package, but even then, more of the ones in the lots. In fact, they're actually hard to find in automatic with the performance package. The performance packages don't make the dealers a lot of money, so they don't even have a lot of them to start with. You do kind of have to take your choices. That's why I ended up custom ordering one. Then they did things like the active exhaust, and I knew once they did that, I was sold. I said, nope, that's the one I want. So, I will be building my car, too. I've made a couple different videos talking about mods I want to do. But I haven't really made any in-depth decisions yet, just because I gotta wait for the car to get here and see how much money I have once I do it. So, I'll let you know when further updates happen. I know this is going to be a little bit of a long video, so if you stayed to the end, I really do appreciate it. Let's go ahead and leave a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments section below what you all think. Give me your other suggestions. I do enjoy hearing some of everyone's suggestions and why. If you are going to leave another suggestion of a car I should have bought, leave me a why I should buy it. Anyway, if you're stopping in for the first time, go ahead and subscribe. Help this channel get to 1,000 subscribers. Take care. Have a good day.